This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
This program is supported by Hyla Philippines. With Hyla, breathing is an experience. Contact us for free demo. For more details, please call or message us 0917-532-7608, 0920-903-3635. Pure Gold. Sa Pure Gold, always mura, always kompleto, always may promo, always panalo.
It is a signal to the world that we are open for business.
We are now open for business. This is Cesar Vallejos bringing you yet another episode to guide you in discovering your passion and growing your business as we learn from experts in the field. Sama-sama tayong matuto sa isa na namang makabuluhang usapan tungo sa pagpapaunlad ng inyong negosyo. Ang Open for Business ay mapapanood nyo sa Facebook, sa YouTube. Siguraduhin mag-like at mag-subscribe sa aming social media page at Net25 TV. Alamin natin, suriin mula sa mga negosyante, thought leaders at mga personalidad sa iba't ibang larangan ang mga strategies, trends at mahalagang karanasan sa pagninegosyo dahil tayo ay open for business. With 24/7 customer service, affordable yet high-quality locally made products, and a promise of no vendor overlap, they're rewriting the rules of online retail. CEO and founder Neil Laas spills the secret behind the successful entry of Shoppedia as it's now open for business.
I'm Jamie Harrell, bringing you business news and information here on Open for Business. December inflation settles at 2.9%. Preliminary data from the Philippine Statistics Authority, also known as the PSA, showed that the Consumer Price Index further accelerated in December, settling at 2.9% from 2.5% over the same month in 2023, on the back of higher food, utility, and transport prices. Despite the increase, the inflation rate is still within the target of 2.3 to 3.1% forecast by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Digital lending to grow over $1 billion in 2025. A private study revealed that digital lending in the Philippines will likely cross the $1 billion mark in 2025. Amidst consumers' rising demand for online technologies, the digital lending market consists of both duly registered non-bank digital lenders and digital banks. The digital lending market was observed to have an average annual growth of 28% from 2013 to 2023. Unemployment rate down to 3.2% in November. Now the country's jobless rate has improved to 3.2% in November last year, compared with 3.6% in 2023, data from the PSA showed. National statistician Dennis Mapa said the number of unemployed Filipinos in November was estimated at 1.66 million, much lower than the 1.823 million recorded in November 2023. Even the number of underemployed was estimated to have gone down to 5.35 million, a significant improvement of 10.8% from 11.7% recorded in November 2023. In overseas news affecting our business, U.S. trade deficit expands in November. The trade gap in the United States has widened by 6.2% to $78.2 billion as imports outpaced exports, said the U.S. Commerce Department. Imports grew by 3.4%, $351.6 billion, while exports stood at $273.4 billion. And that's the business roundup for this week. I'm Jamie Harrell for Open for Business.
This portion is brought to you by Pure Gold. Sa Pure Gold, Always mura. Always kompleto. Always may promo. Always panalo. National Rally for Peace, January 13, 2025. A Net25 special coverage.
The e-marketplaces are dominated by those who came early in the game, but there's always room for new players. Today, we're talking about the revolutionary online shopping platform doing things differently. From offering high-quality, affordable products to ensuring no two vendors sell the same product, this platform is reshaping the way we think about e-commerce. But what truly sets it apart? A commitment to customer service, available 24/7 to meet the needs of shoppers anytime, anywhere. Joining us to dive deeper into this exciting innovation is the visionary behind it all. Please welcome Neil Laas, the CEO of Shoppedia, with a passion for empowering local businesses and a bold strategy to compete with the giants of e-commerce. They're proving that putting the customer first is the ultimate key to success. Welcome to Open for Business, Neil. How are you?
I'm fine, Sir Cesar. Thank you so much for inviting me over.
Well, this is very timely, Neil, because for the past episodes, we've been talking about e-marketplaces. At siyempre, katulad nga natin ng nasabi natin sa intro, napakalalaki ng mga kalaban mo. At kahit na malalaki yan, there's always room to compete and to grow. But based on our research, before we proceed into this discussion, we also saw your background. Your background is in retail, specifically mall leasing.
Yes.
So, for someone in the brick and mortar space for 20 years, so 2 dekada, hindi ko natatanungin ang age mo nila, what inspired you to come up with Shoppedia?
That's a very good question to start, Sir Cesar. Shoppedia is actually a product or a byproduct of so many research and studies that I personally did in the past 5 to 6 years recently, okay, because the advent of digitalization is inevitable. Hindi na siya pwedeng pigilan. Kahit sabihin natin na we are a third world country, but still, kailangan natin sumabay doon sa agos ng clamor for digitalization. So in the year 2015, doon ako nagsimula ng pagtuklas kung ano ba talaga ang future ng e-commerce. I was at the time doing leasing in one of the biggest mall operators in the country, and I could see the expansion that we're doing in that mall from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. But simultaneously, on the underground level, nakikita ko na the online selling and the presence of the online marketplaces like the giant networks that we currently have are seemingly successful in converting the brick and mortar stores into its online platforms. Hindi siya pwedeng pigilan kasi hindi natutulog ang tao eh. But the malls are closing at 10 p.m.
Yes.
and the business is no longer open beyond that time. The people that are visiting the malls are also limited. If you are not in that vicinity, it's really difficult for you to go and shop there. Mga brick and mortar stores owners, technically, na-discover nila, okay, beyond 10 p.m. and my mall operations, kumikita pa pala kami. So, because we are active at night, yung mga tao, especially na natatraffic ka or umuulan, di ka makalabas, people are now hovering into their phones. And in the year 2015, hindi pa ganun kasikat or ka-secure ang tao sa pag-online shopping. But when pandemic struck, everybody was very shocked to find out that even the food, lahat ng items, lahat ng kailangan mo sa bahay can now be shopped online and delivered to your doorstep. So, in fact, it was in the time that the mall operations were stricken by the idea that potentially pwede pala kami mag-shutdown. For the longest time, mga 3 months, that mall did not operate the way it used to be. And that pandemic hastened the demands for online presence, kasi hindi siya limited eh. It's limitless promotions, limitless yung advertisement mo, and it's very accessible to anybody. Not unlike in a physical mall that you really have to drive down there, maghanap ka pa ng parking slot mo, and so on and so forth. It's a little bit inconvenient na sa mga shoppers nowadays.
Pero Neil, during the pandemic, hindi ka pa nag-open nun or open ka na?
No, we're not open.
Oh, okay.
It was done more of a research. So my entrance to the e-commerce business is again born out of many types of research and studies. I became an online seller by myself to have a physical and personal knowledge of how this e-commerce, the giant e-commerce, are working in our country. When I became one of their merchants, doon ko nakita yung kind of system that they're operating on. Sabi ko, ay ganito pala sila, ganito pala yung treatment dito sa loob, na kakapasok ko lang ng sabon ko, ng soap business ko, 3 days after, a lot of people are already selling the same items with a different pricing.
So the competition is very stiff.
A lot. It's like it's a free marketplace. Anybody can just go in and build their own stores without really making sure that they are legitimate sellers. Ako, legitimate seller ako eh. We have all our documentations intact. And then you can see the same soap being sold by somebody which I didn't know. Sabi ko, how come they exist in the same platform? And what's gonna happen is nagkakainan kami, naglalaban-laban kami using the same item. So if you are from the consumer's perspective, sino ang totoo dito? Which is which? I mean, one is selling lower than what you're selling, one is selling higher than what you're selling. So, ang tanong, ano ba talaga? So, their answer to me was, ganyan po talaga, sir, kasi open market tayo. And I said, and that was the eureka. That was the discovery point. I said, now I know that this system may be famous in the current ecosystem, but there's a big loophole there. And I want to penetrate that loophole and close the gap, which is, I'm going to open a new e-commerce platform that will limit this kind of practice to ensure that my consumers will be protected at the same time my merchants are protected. Dalawa kasi yan, sir.
So both online, the online sellers or the merchants and the online consumers.
Yes, because at the end of the day, when I was in the mall operations, napaka-strict namin when it comes to scrutinizing the tenants to be allowed in a certain mall.
Yeah, you have to do a lot of background checks,
correct,
diba? And even zoning, as I
correct,
see it. So, what were the learnings that you do in leasing, now which you think should have been applied online or e-commerce?
Well, here's the truth, and I am very proud to say this: 99.9% of Shoppedia is a DNA of that mall that I used to work with. 99.9. It means that everything that I've learned in that mall operations are being applied digitally here in my Shoppedia mall. Because I don't have the billions to build physical malls, so I did build my own digital mall. But I found out it's really more difficult, to be honest, Sir Cesar, building an e-commerce. Mas matalinhaga, mas masyado siyang demanding, mas masyado siyang competitive sa market. So,
but you think that's a niche market, di ba?
It's a niche market. And depende na lang talaga kung anong klaseng offerings meron kayo. Kaya going back to my little story, when I became an online seller of those giant networks, nakita ko na kahit malaki sila, they still have areas that they have not covered properly. Once and for all, their directions is only towards the consumers and not on the merchants, or the other way around, or vice versa. And sa akin, pwedeng pagsabay-sabayin yun. Kasi as a platform, you are obligated to protect your merchants from possible bogus buyers. But at the same time, you are supposed to be protecting your consumers from a bogus sellers. So that is what the ITA 2023 is talking about.
Exactly.
So, and then secondly, ang hindi ko pa na-emphasize is that there was no active or strict regulatory body in those giant networks that I used to be with. So sabi ko, malaking butas yan kasi wala naman tayong dapat pag-uusapan dito ngayon ng mga bogus buying na scenarios or complaints if the platform itself has its own regulatory body. When I had a chance to encounter USEC Jean Pacheco, we had a long discussion regarding this one. And I'm so thankful that the ITA 2023 has already been enacted. But my question is, what happens 10 years ago? Wala. Nothing is policing it, although we have the Consumers Protection Act. But it seems that the online platforms proliferating in our country right now seems to be so big enough that they become so untouchable na hindi sila pwedeng, may reklamo, but I don't know what happens to those complaints. So when I was given the time to really talk about Shoppedia, I always emphasize that hindi magkakaproblema rather ang government sa akin, because before the ITA 2023 has been enacted, nasa DNA na namin ang pag-self-regulate, hindi talaga pwede makapasok sa amin yung basta sino-sino lang unless magka-copycat kami ng system nila. But that's not our direction. So, mahirap pumasok sa amin kasi pag hindi ko na hawakan ang item by myself, hindi nakita ng team ko by their naked eyes, hindi namin na-measures yung items na yan, that cannot be posted on my platform at all.
Basically, as you mentioned now, Neil, you started as online seller, you had that kind of experience, and practically the rules or your experience in malls is what you are applying here. So, what makes Shoppedia very unique?
Well, for one obvious reason, this is just the first one of a kind e-commerce that is Filipino-owned. My competitions are not from here. They're all foreign corporations.
So even funding, Pinoy din?
Yeah, it's a local funding. And yun nga ang isa sa mga birth pains ng isang startup company sa Pilipinas is the funding. But slowly but surely, we're getting up there. And of course, wala namang kasiguraduhan sa isang business. But one thing is certain that there's gonna be a huge migration of shoppers from these giant networks to ours when they started feeling that they are treated properly in my platform. Treated in the sense that what you see is what you get. Our customer service is very proactive. So you don't need to call us if we see that there's already a problem coming on your way while your parcel is being delivered. We will proactively inform you that there's some glitch on the delivery so that you will not feel that you are ignored or pinapababayaan ka lang, or we are just reactive to your scenarios or your complaints. But we will be doing that proactively moving forward. So number two, Shoppedia is focused on the local economies. Pinoy tayo eh. It's time for us to highlight our own SMEs. They've been struggling to penetrate the online world, to be honest. Ito yung shocking truth kasi hindi naman SMEs ang namamayagpag sa giant networks eh. Those are China products. Those are not ours. And if you're gonna if you're gonna dig deeper to that, are they paying taxes? I don't know. But our local SMEs are supposed to be promoted because dito sila kumikita, dito sila nagmamanufacture. And I think they are taxpayers. And Shoppedia is going to champion that SMEs into our platform.
In what way is it revolutionary? What technological features make it different from all the shopping platforms in the e-marketplaces?
Well, there are two facets for calling it a revolutionary thing. Number one is in the technology, number two is in the operation system. In terms of technology, we heavily invested on its cybersecurity measures.
Okay.
We heavily invested on our own servers and data centers. Revolutionary in a sense that we employ certain KYCs procedures that if you are using a cash on delivery payment method is the most abused payment method in the country. Why is it most abused? Because the control of everything is in the hands of the consumers. They place order in your platform and they have the right not to accept it later on. So, in short, kung hindi namin kukontrolin yun, malulugi yung business namin at kawawa yung merchants ko. Revolutionary in Shoppedia because we input a interception or intervention in the process of the COD processing. So if you are a COD user, we will call you for a third-party verification call just to make sure na ikaw talaga ang umorder no, hindi asawa mo, hindi boyfriend mo, hindi yaya mo. Kasi ang nangyayari sa kulturang Pilipino is, honey, i-order mo nga ako kay Shoppedia, ikaw na mag-order. Pero ang account na ginamit niya, ang account ng husband niya. So, ngayon, pag-deliver ng item, inahanap ang husband, sasabihin ng husband, ay, wala naman akong order eh. Hindi ko naalala na may order ako. Yun pala, ang asawa niya ang nag-order. So, ika-cancel na yun. So, magre-return to sender. So, now we plan to intercept that kind of scenario by calling you. And if during the third-party verification, pag hindi mo nasagot yung tanong namin in a series of questions, we will cancel that order for you. Based sa nakalap naming data, umabot po ng 38 to 49% ang hindi tumatanggap. Revolutionary kami on the second part that our system is again protecting both ends. So we make sure that our merchants understand our processes. Because if you are my merchants, you are now expecting sales. Pero we educate them that if they did not pass our third-party verification process, then that was a fake sale, ma'am. So we would rather be dealing with the right data that this is the right sales that you're getting. We're not giving you the false hopes that you get more sales. Yung pala, ERTS lang naman nila. So revolutionary in a sense that while there is technological advancement going on, there is still maintenance of human touch. You're not going to be talking to a machine here. You're going to be hearing a live person calling you.
I think with that, the one who's going to benefit would be your merchants, di ba? But what about the features or functionalities of Shoppedia that appeals to consumers?
When it comes to functionalities, there's not much to talk about kasi most of the functionalities are very common.
And pare-pareho lang.
Pare-pareho lang yan. The only differentiating factor there is, ang darating ba talaga yun? That's the focal point of why we revolutionize everything. There's a revolution going on because you need to re-educate. You need to ascertain and reascertain people that hindi po lahat ng online platforms are scammers. Hindi naman lahat po ang intention is to scam. Depende po yan sa klase ng platforms na pinupuntahan nyo. Kaya revolutionary din because being a consumer, you still have an obligation to do the due diligence. I mean, you're not just gonna be accepting the advertisement. Ito sir ang concern ko on a personal level. Will you buy a product that says 99% discounted price?
Parang that's too good to be true.
That's too good to be true. And then you are expecting that you only be paying peso and you're expecting a quality product?
Unless like there's a DTI promo probably that parang like the piso sale, di ba?
Yun nga ang problema because we are now in the generations that the consumers are all wanting freebies, free shipping, free everything. But that's not how the real system works. You go to the mall, they don't have that kind of thing. Because the actual mall is actually selling an actual item. But in the online world, it seems to be so abused that everybody becomes so obsessed of having free shipping. Aanuhin mo yung free shipping kung dumating ba to? We are trying to inject something not new, but something factual, something that is realistic.
And something that's ethical.
Ethical, precisely.
Ang may-ari ng bankrupt na business versus isang rich boy investor. Kaya ba nilang mag-rise to success? Rising with the Wind. Abangan dito lang sa Net25.
Let's get together sa Net25. Sa Net25.
Ngayon, pag-usapan po natin yung pagpili ng mga produkto na pwedeng ibenta sa Shoppedia. So, sinasabi mo kanina, and I read it during the introduction, and you mentioned it yourself, Neil. So, kunyari, di ba, as online seller, pare-pareho kayo, sabon, ganyan. So, medyo, I think, there is the gap that has to be bridged. Sabi mo, kumbaga, everything's the same, prices are the same, but quality is not necessarily the same. So, paano nyo, what are your parameters in choosing products that can be sold in Shoppedia?
There are categories that you cannot put limits to it kasi ang dami-dami.
Like what
Fashion,
are these?
for example.
Okay.
You cannot limit your players on a fashion. Skincare, for example, you cannot limit that.
Tama.
What will limit are the players.
Oh.
Example, if you are a distributor, if you are a manufacturer, okay, and if you are selling your own soaps, you are a manufacturer. At the same time, you are selling your products, retailing your products, and you have distributors and resellers. Hindi po pwedeng makapasok yung mga distributors and resellers mo at the same time with you.
No distributors, resellers allowed.
If the manufacturers are already there, whoever
I
comes
see.
first. We have many instances or merchants that we onboarded that they are only resellers. But guess what? Silang nauna nagtiwala sa amin, so we protect them. It means that if you are a reseller of a particular beauty products, and then 3 months after, the manufacturer of that same product called us
Comes
up.
in,
I'm so sorry, but we have to turn them down. Also, there are brands that I'm talking to, and I ask them the question, if your competitors come in, would you be able to accommodate it? Because nagbibigay kasi ako ng abiso sa merchants ko na may papasok na katulad ng ano nyo, ng product nyo, but in different brands. Are you amenable for them to coexist on their platform? And since they are also businessmen, they would say, okay lang, because they can also make sure that they keep on their standards to check on their quality of products as well. So it's okay, mga ganon. It's a matter of talking naman and negotiating on the table. But the good thing though is I'm very hands-on with my merchants. I make sure that we communicate to them, we give them the proper reports, and we give them an assessment of what have they become in our platform, and so on and so forth.
Now, gaano katagal ang proseso ng pagpili, lalo na at dapat ang mga ito ay affordable at high quality? Because the task that you are presenting to me now is very somehow voluminous.
Yeah.
Neil, di ba?
Tedious talaga ang process.
Oo, so tedious. So, gaano katagal? Baka mamaya parang, di ba, with other platforms, sabi nila, it's as easy like opening a Facebook account. In your case, how long is the waiting time or processing time?
The processing time and the waiting time depends on the merchants if they are collaborative with us or not. Kasi kami, we offer full assistance already from the onset. Ang problema lang is, sometimes the merchants are also busy people. Since marami ng players ng e-commerce, they tend to really focus on those big networks. So, for newcomers, isa sa mga birth pains namin yun na parang hindi ka muna nila iintindihin, you're not really prioritized, and it's okay. Kasi nga, nasa proving stage pa lang ang Shoppedia when it comes to its concept. Pero doon kami nahihirapan. The onboarding is very easy because we do a system. Mas tedious sa end namin because the product descriptions are made by us. We edit the product descriptions that will suit the standards that's required by the ITA 2023. So hindi yan ginagawa, hindi rin gagawin yan ng merchants. Photoshoots, we make sure that it's a standardized photoshoots kasi pag zoom in yan ng mga consumers, nagpipixelate na yan pag kinuha mo na yan sa internet ang photos. And we do it for free, by the way.
May tech specs ka talaga na sinusundan. You have,
because that's part of the customer service na mapafeel ng consumers na pinaghirapan talaga to. And that's the reason why we are a little bit slow because inaalagaan namin yung onboarding mo. We are not aiming for number of merchants right away. We're aiming for the quality products talaga, quality merchants. And the rest will just simply follow. And as we age in the market, mas natutunan din ng mga merchants namin kung paano gamitin yung system namin. So in that sense, medyo bumibilis na po kami ng konti comparing sa first day namin.
But on the average, Neil, how long, like say on the average, how long is the processing time?
Maximum yung 3 weeks.
Okay.
Maximum yung 3 weeks. Especially if the merchants are very new sa online world, they don't know how to project their products in the market. Mahirap yun kasi isa-isahin mo yung products nila
So far, how's the response, especially since Shoppedia is highlighting locally made products and does not have two vendors of the same product.
There will be two players or many players of the same nature of products as long as, number one, we agreed. Example, if you are a producer of bamboo furniture and you are in Luzon, I have to take another player in Visayas because of the distance. I have to take another player in Luzon kasi ang hirap naman ng shipping cost noon. Mula Luzon to Visayas, to Mindanao.
So you look at geographic reach as well.
Yes. Basta ang pinaka-core dyan is if you are selling same product na magkapare-parehas lang naman yan. Example, sir, I'll give you a very concrete example here. I only have two players in my gadgets for mobile phones.
Okay.
One is selling iPhone and one selling all Androids. So hindi sila nagka-cannibalize kasi hindi sila parehas ng market. You see, because at the end of the day, pare-parehas lang naman yan eh. Why would I add more players na magka-cannibalizing na naman sila sa loob ng platform? They're selling the same phone. It doesn't matter. So yun.
Neil, ang swerte nung napipili mo.
Of course, because ito nga yung, sir, ang frustrations namin ng online sellers sa mundo ng mga giant networks. Wala naman talaga protection dun eh. In fact, based on my personal theory, these giant networks are studying which brands or concepts are trending in the Philippines, and they will copy that in somewhere and reproduce that and, sell it in the Philippines. That's how it is.
Tama.
So, I mean, it's a social-political issue, by the way, sir. I mean, for me, since it's election time is coming, I'm calling the attentions of our beloved senators and congressmen to look into it, to look into the details. Pinapatay nila ang sarili nating ekonomiya. And that's my campaign on a personal level. Na Shoppedia is not just open for business, but it's open for protecting our local economy.
Wow, this is admirable, Neil. Pero, yun nga, ano naman ang pinanggagalingan mo doon sa promotion of locally made products? Where is this inspiration? Where is this love? Or where is this passion for locally made products coming from? I know that you are nationalistic, you're a Filipino, and that's very good advocacy. But what triggered it?
It's triggered by the frustration and disappointment that ang likhang Pilipino ay sobrang napakaganda. Ang likha ng Pilipino is something that is worthy of celebrating, worthy of promoting.
And it's world class.
It's a world-class thing. And there was one moment that I attended an exhibit of Fame, Manila. And I was so amazed that these Filipino craftsmanship is displayed there. And I said, are these made of European manufacturers? I said, no, these are Filipinos. I thought it was European or Western, but it was Filipino.
Fame is the trade show.
Yeah. That was the point that the moment I said to myself, bakit hindi ko nakikilala Pilipino ako? How come I did not know this? And the answer was very simple. Hindi naman kami dito, sir, nagbebenta eh. We are exporters. So, if you are an exporters, what happens to your local economy here?
Parang ang mas nakikinabang at naka-appreciate ng world-class designs and products natin, mga banyaga.
Yes, and that's where we lose our national identity in the same place. You don't know kung anong likhang Pilipino anymore. Kasi lahat ng likhang China. Well, I have nothing against with it. There are China products that were very useful, but hey, there are products that are made in the Philippines and it's worthy to be used and to be bought and to be promoted by Filipinos ng kapwa Pinoy. It's not a rocket science to determine that or to discern that. Sino ba bang dapat magtutulong-tulungan?
Just, going back to your message on Fame and on this exporter quality, hindi ba iisipin nila na kaya yan pang export kasi may premium siya. May premium price, better quality. It's not catering to the local market because it's a little bit pricey. So, what's your take on that? Do you think that Filipinos or manufacturers or designers can produce something that's affordable for the Filipino market?
Well, since I am not an exporter by myself, maybe I may not have done so much research on their end. Pero to answer your question, Sir Cesar, this is just very simple. It goes back to our government system. It goes back to our support system. Sino ba ang nagsusuporta sa local manufacturers natin? Why are they producing so much products at a very high premium and selling it abroad, and then nobody seems to buy it locally because they cannot afford it? Bakit ganyan? Well, number one, because wala namang support system ang government. It's my just opinion. I hope I will not be bashed about this. But it depends on the support system. Because, sorry to say that, but to compare other countries, why do you think China is able to produce this massively products at a very low cost?
Yes.
Because the government supports them. They build all these manufacturing companies in Guangzhou, in Shenzhen, and the businessman can apply loans from the government, and it's payable as many years as you can and pay a little tax for your loan. That's a support that we do not have here that prompted all these products to skyrocket. Going back to the issue of the value for money, so what is the value of your 300 when you are being scammed? What's the value of 250 pesos that you ordered online kung ang darating ba to? I would rather pay 3,000 pesos to something that it's true, something that is in existence, something that is not fake, because that's the value of my money. And I can get to enjoy that. Tayo kasing Pilipino, mahilig tayo sa mahilig tayo sa mura pero di kwalidad. That is a very ironic thing to begin with.
Tsaka bili ka ng bili, in the long run, mas malaking ginastos mo.
Hindi kasi tayo nag-iisip ng long-term effect ng ginagawa natin eh. Doon lang tayo palagi. This is just my opinion. I hope that this will not be taken against me. But in my years of teaching in the college, ang Pilipinong psikolehiyang Pilipino kasi napaka-unique talaga eh. We find happiness in a very simple thing, but we immediately complain after the expectations did not meet. But what can you expect from something 350 pesos at tinatag siya ng Levi's? There's no such thing as 350 pesos na Levi's. Diba? And you don't expect that thing to perform as an original Levi's kasi nag-fade agad yung colors ng damit mo.
At
diba?
saka nag-shrink agad.
Oo. So again, let's re-educate ourselves. Let's revisit our values kung ano ba talaga. So, yun ang problema natin.
Wow, these are interesting insights, Neil. Okay, maganda to. Okay, one of the pillars of Shoppedia is 24/7 customer service. Karamihan ng may ganitong plataforma o negosyo ay may pinapahalagahan, may pagpapahalaga sa kanilang interface. Sa Shoppedia naman, customer service ang focus. Why?
Customer service is the bulwark. It's the primary reason why the business flourishes. Try to take that away. Try to lessen your customer service and your business is gonna die. Ang tao kasi, once there are buyers, they are entitled to something. Di ba, sir? I mean, pag customer ka, you really have this sense of entitlement na, serbihan mo ako ng mainam kahit yung bibiling ko kape lang. But we have to feed that ego. We have to make them feel that they are the kings and queens of our businesses. And lo and behold, totoo naman talaga. But I'm not saying that all customers are right all the time. Hindi naman ako naniniwala doon. Pero ang ibig ko lang sabihin is, the reason why the business is existing because there are consumers. Try to take that away and you don't have the business. So it's a vice versa thing. So
and it is applicable to all industries.
To all industries. Now, what I have found out in my experiences with other networks is that the moment that you bought something already, nagsisiwalaan na yung mga nabilhan mo. Hindi mo na alam kung saan mo ibabalik. Hindi mo na alam kung sinong kakausapin mo, nagtuturuan na. And that's one thing that we cured in our system. By the way, Sir Cesar, for the information of the public, Shoppedia is a single vendor platform.
Which means?
Which means that kahit marami kang nakikitang product lines doon sa loob ng platform namin, you're only buying to Shoppedia directly. Which means that kahit merchant kita, we answer the customer service for you. We do not redirect the consumers na
you don't pass it on to them.
Immediately. We don't. But there are certain occasions that we have to pass it on to you because of the technical details of the problems already. But there is an assistance going on in passing the consumer to the merchant directly. Hindi basta-basta yon. So we are always in the loop so that we would know which one has a fault, which one is not telling the truth. We are the police guard for that scenario.
So with that system, Neil, are you charging premium for that
No.
to the merchants?
No, it's part of their agreement with us already. It's
I
built
see.
in.
Okay. Which they don't see in other platforms.
And I don't think it's gonna ever be done by these platforms to their local consumers. In the first place, they are not ours. Iba magmahal ang Pilipino, sir.
Okay. Nice. Oh, daming quotable quotes ni Sir Neil. Okay. So, going back to this exceptional customer service, is it part of your culture? Is it part of your mission? Are there trainings that you do to ensure that Shoppedia employees would maintain this exceptional customer service?
Yes, it's in the DNA of our corporate structure that we always have to think the side of the consumers. As long as the consumers are not abusive, they are not using profane words against us, as long as they maintain respect. Kasi ako nakikipag-away din ako, sir, to a certain extent because I have Shoppedia to protect in the first place. We welcome complaints, but it should be in a very respectful manner. So hindi naman pwede na basta-basta lang kami batuhan dyan ng mga hindi totoong mga salita, kahit sang korte, siguro susulungin kita. Ang point of the matter is, respect begets respect. But in our corporate structure, I always emphasize on the daily meetings that our consumers are the reasons why we all have jobs. So as much as possible, impose maximum tolerance to them. Okay? But not to the extent na hayaan lang natin sila maging abusado sa atin because it has limits as well. But of course, wala pa naman kaming consumers na ginanon.
How does 24/7 customer service enhance the shopping experience and build customer loyalty?
It does build and enhance a lot of many things from the consumer perspective kasi impulsive ang tao pag may problema eh. Impulsive yung emotions niya, yung anger niya, masyadong uncontrollable na yon pag wala na siyang may nakausap. The moment that the parcel arrives in your doorstep and it's not what you think it is, then automatically what triggers you is your anger emotion eh. So now that emotion has to be curtailed by talking to a customer service. So ngayon pa lang, the moment that we get that kind of response, medyo pinapacify na namin yung consumers. Kung hindi siya madadala sa chatting, we call them and we wanted to listen to their voices and go straight to the point of what seems to be the problem. And lo and behold, pag ang tao kasi, ang Filipino naman, hindi naman tayo mahirap kausap. Pag napa-explain naman na mabuti in an honest manner, I think naintindihan nila na ay hindi naman yan intended na mangyari.
At minsan, masagot mo lang. Kasi
Yes.
minsan kahit na wala ka pang solusyon, masagot mo lang.
It's a big-
Rather than hindi masasagot, pupunta yan sa social media at magpo-post.
Correct. At ang ayaw na ayaw nilang lahat. Ayaw mo rin itong mangyari sa'yo na ipagpapasa-pasa ka. Nakuha na yung pera sa'yo, pagkatapos pag may complaints, ay, this is not the right department to talk to, let me transfer you to this. In my office, whether it's an accounting problem, you will be accommodated even that you are not from the accounting department. Let me take your problem. Let me park this for now. What's the best time for me to call you back? And once we say, we will call you back at 3 p.m., we will call you back 3 p.m. and remind you that there's a phone call coming from us.
Adami talaga namang problema. Maraming mga budol, maraming complaints. How do you handle complaints? And what are the tips that you can provide to MSMEs on dealing with consumer complaints? Dahil nga sa Internet Transactions Act, di ba? Kausap ko din yung ibang giants dito. Talagang sila, kaya tayo may Internet Transactions Act para din maproteksyonan yung mga consumer, lalo na kung wala silang complaint. Kaya tinatanong namin, gaano kabilis kayo mag-feedback? Kasi kung hindi, pwedeng ireklamo sa kanya-kanyang platform at ireklamo sa eGov app or sa DTI mismo. Okay, go ahead, Danny.
So, to streamline the answers to the question, simple lang masyado, sir, ang sagot ko dyan. If you are a businessman, dapat may forecast ka kung saang area ng operations mo, kung tatagtarin ka ng problema. First and foremost, na-cure ko yan because ang complaints nag-a-arise lang yan mostly 90% if your platform allows bogus selling. That's number one.
Yeah.
Bakit magkakaproblema ka sa customer service mo? bakit ka mabibenta ng bogus? Alam naman na reklamo yan. So to cure that, then wala ka dapat i-on board na hindi totoo. Kasi ang reklamo, nilaman na narrow down mo na. Baka sa shipping yon, baka sa ibang technical issues yon, sa payment yon. So hindi ka na nag-focus doon sa kabogosan ng items mo.
Kasi in the first place, hindi sila kasali sa platform mo.
Precisely. So, kaya nagfo-focus kami sa after sales na kasi alam namin na hindi niya magsasabi na ay hindi naman to in order ko. Ay teka, lahat yan may ebidensya kami, naka-videotape yan, naka-document yan. So, we narrowed it down. And that is the best cure. So, lahat na ng mga nasa SMEs na wanting to develop their businesses, isipin nila muna saan magkakaproblema ang produkto ko. So they have to have an interceptions already. Kung magreklamo ba yung customers ko, ano ang next step ko? Is my team ready to take that thing moving forward? Are we able to explain further to our consumers bakit nangyari to? Is my team equipped? May knowledge ba kami sa pag-understand ng psikolohiya ng mga buyers? Hindi lang porket may pera ka, nagnenegosyo ka, you have to have an idea of what consumers you may have. Because these consumers are sometimes so entitled that you don't know where to begin with your resolutions of the case. Pero kung marunong kang makibahagi ng kaalaman on how to play around their emotions, malaking factor yun sa conflict resolution.
Wow! Gaano na po ba kalaki ang users ng Shoppedia?
Well, hindi po pa kami malaki, sir, because we're just barely new in the market. But we are still in our proving stage kasi kaka-open lang namin ng November 29.
Wow! November 29. So roughly, what's your base now?
Nasa thousands pa lang kami, sir.
Okay.
And then we are aiming to have our 100 days e-commerce report. We call it State of the E-commerce Report. Parang presidente na umupo sa Malacanang. That we are mandated to have our 100 days reporting. So that's going to happen on March 8. We will have our grand activation night. And we will be giving them the milestones since November 29 to March 8.
But what's your target?
We are targeting 5 million downloads.
5 million downloads. And hopefully after watching Open for Business, Shoppedia's user base will increase.
I hope so. Thank you.
You know, as we close this conversation, what are your tips also to MSMEs so that they will not stop and somehow they can shift? Kasi like in your case, from brick and mortar to, you know, you found that eureka episode in your life and then you somehow tried to come up with a new idea.
Maging mapagmatsyag tayo sa ating environment and hindi lahat ng gusto mo mangyayari. So, as a businessman, we should know that the world is changing so fast. Ang tanong lang daan is, gaano ka kabilis mag-adjust sa needs ng panahon? Hindi needs mo, need ng panahon. Kasi that's something that you do not have control with. So, my only tip is, do not shun away from your passion of what you really want to do in life, but make sure that you are always aligned with reality. Or else, there's no fruition to whatever vision you may have in the future if you are distanced from the reality that you are facing right now.
Wow! And for the merchants who want to apply in Shoppedia and online consumers who want to try Shoppedia, where can they go, Sir Neil?
They can visit our Facebook page, Shoppedia. They can also visit our website, www.shoppediaglobal.com. They can download our mobile app in Huawei and in Play Store and iOS.
Thank you so much, Neil. This has been a very insightful conversation with you.
Thinking as a network, acting as one. A show about visionaries and their projects. Challenges that can be tackled together for a future worth living. Working for a more united world. Global Us.
And our buzzword of the week is e-tailing. Electronic retailing or e-tailing is the sale of goods and services through the internet. E-tailing can include business to business, B2B, and business to consumer, B2C sales of products and services. And with that, our quote for the week is, customers don't expect you to be perfect. They do expect you to fix things when they go wrong. That's according to British Airways' Donald Porter. Thank you, Neil. Maraming salamat sa iyo. Maraming salamat sa isang oras na pagsama sa amin upang tunghayan ang isang makabuluhang usapan ukol sa negosyo dito lang sa Open for Business. Hanggang sa susunod na linggo, samahan niyo kaming muli dito sa Open for Business. Catch us on Facebook, on YouTube. Like and subscribe on our social media page at Net25 TV. We will bring you more insights from industry experts, thought leaders, CEOs, and featured SMEs. Together, let us help encourage business development in the Philippines. Sharpen your business acumen, feel the pulse, and set the trend for as long as you're informed and open for business. Ito po si Cesar Vallejos. Marami pong salamat.
This program is supported by Hyla Philippines. With Hyla, breathing is an experience. Contact us for free demo. For more details, please call or message us 0917-532-7608, 0920-903-3635.
Pure Gold. Sa Pure Gold, always mura, always kompleto, always may promo, always panalo.